Hi YouTube, my name's Ellen, and I thought I would do a tag video today. I was not actually tagged, but it looked like fun, so I wanted to do it. It's called the Opposites Book Tag, and let's see, there are, how many questions? 10 questions. If I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone. The questions are here. So let's just get started. So the first question is, the first book in your collection and the last book that you bought. And for this, I'm at school, so I don't have the technical first book I've ever had, which I'm not even sure what it would be. But in my room here, the oldest book that I have, that I've had for the longest, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which is a fantastic book. I love it, and you should read it. It's great. And then the most recent book that I have, I bought this one recently. I've actually already read it a couple years ago, and I really didn't like it. Something about the characters and their decisions that they made just really frustrated me. So, but I have heard people on BookTube talking about it a lot recently, and saying that they love it and that it's a classic. So, and I gave away my copy from before because I didn't like it. So, I thought that I would get it again, try it, see if anything's changed, and it was super cheap, so I just picked it up. Yeah. The next question is a cheap book and an expensive book. And I tend not to buy books full price, so I don't know, I don't tend to spend a lot of money on books in general, so for the expensive book, I just picked a book that I bought full price, and I don't tend to do that, and it's hardback. I'm actually not sure, it doesn't say on the back, I'm not actually sure exactly how much this was, but it was a full price hardback, so it was like, I don't know, $24 or so, and for me that's expensive. So I'm a college student, you know, gotta save the money. Oh, also, I haven't read that yet, but I really want to, obviously, because I bought it. The cheapest book I have is actually, I got it for at a used book sale, and they were doing fill a bag for $2, so that was insane. And of course I filled 2 bags because why not? And so this one probably ended up being maybe like 10 cents, and I've been wanting to read it anyway, so I got A Great and Terrible Beauty by Lydia Bray, and it just looks really good. This one, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. In London. Yeah, well, it just looks really good in general, and I'm excited to read it. So, the next question is a book with a male protagonist and a book with a female protagonist. And for this, I chose the books that I'm two of the books that I'm currently reading. I have way too many books that I'm currently reading, which is a separate story. But I chose the 2 books that I'm reading right now because one of them has a male protagonist, the other one has a female protagonist. So right now I'm reading Night Film. This is really heavy. Wow. Night Film. And this has a male protagonist. And this one's about an investigator named Scott McGrath, and he is investigating the supposed suicide, but he thinks it might be a murder of the daughter of a famous horror film director. I'm not that far in so far, but so far I really enjoy it, and I look forward to finishing that one. For a book that has a female protagonist, I have Throne of Glass, which, let me tell you, I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. This is an art copy. I actually got it at a secondhand store, and I thought that was kind of cool. They had an art copy there. But yeah, this is a fantastic, super fast, like super exciting read. It's fantasy, young adult. Yeah, I'm like a third of the way through right now, and I like don't want to finish it because I don't want it to end. Of course, I'm going to pick up the next books in the series once I'm done with this one, but so far I love it. Yeah, it's about a girl named Selena, and she is an assassin, and she was chosen to compete to be the assassin for the king. So she's really cool, a really strong character. Yeah, that's a great book. Okay, the next question is a book that you read really fast and a book that took you a really long time to read. For a book that I read really fast is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I loved this. This was really interesting, definitely fast-paced. I have heard some YouTubers say that it was a little bit slow, but I don't know. For some reason, I zoomed through this. I really enjoyed it. Also because of the pictures. Let's see if I can find some. Yeah, there's like some pictures throughout the book, and I found that just brought the story to life more, and I really enjoyed this one. And I'm excited to read Hollow City when it's already out, but I haven't gotten it yet, so I'm going to read that one next. For a book that took me a long time to read, I chose Merlin's Blade by Robert Treskillard. I don't know. But I chose this one because, okay, at first I thought it was a quick read. At first, when I first started reading it, I was enjoying it. It was fantasy. It was kind of what I was in the mood for. But as it went along, I just couldn't connect with the characters, and I don't know, there was some religious aspects that I just wasn't expecting, and I thought maybe it just wasn't for me. And so I struggled through the last bit of this, and because I wanted to finish it, and I mean, I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty low rating, but I don't know. I did enjoy it at the beginning, maybe like the first quarter of the book, and then I had to really push myself to read the rest of it. So that's what I chose for that one. The next question is a pretty cover and an ugly cover. I don't actually have that many ugly covers because I don't tend to get a book if I don't like the cover, which is horrible. But yeah, and also I don't have my full collection here at school with me, so I'm sure there are some much uglier books at home, and I'm sure there are some much prettier books at home as well. For an ugly cover, I chose this one. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I hope I said that right. It's about a woman named Efemelu, and she is from Nigeria, and she moves to the United States, and it's kind of just about how she lives her life here, how it's difficult to kind of be an outsider in both countries because she doesn't feel like she's fully a part of either culture once she's moved to America. So it's really interesting. It's definitely has is a lot in here about racism, and I think it's really an important read, and I really like that it's popular because I think that it has some really important and pertinent issues in here. It addresses a lot of really important things about race, and so I really enjoyed it. It was a little long. I thought maybe it could have been a little bit shorter, but I liked it in general. For a book with a pretty cover, I chose An Untamed State by Roxane Gay, and this is another new release, and she's kind of an up-and-coming author. And this one, I will say, it was hard to read. Very hard. I have a review on Goodreads on this one. It's about a woman named Mireille, and she and her family are from Haiti. She moves away and to the United States. Again, it's kind of a similar idea to the last book, but this one, it focuses more on political issues rather than social issues, I would say. So when she's visiting back Haiti, when she's visiting her family in Haiti, she gets kidnapped and has some horrible things happen to her when she's in captivity. And so this book is about sort of the impacts of that on her. It addresses mental illness and recovering from trauma really beautifully. It does a great job, but it is not an easy read, I would say. This one really ripped my heart out, and yeah, it was tough, but it was good. Worth it. The next question is a national book and an international book. So for a national book, I picked one on my shelf that I actually really want to read. I just recently got this one, but yeah, obviously I've heard some great things about it in Silver Linings Playbook, and this takes place in... Where does this take place? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where this takes place because I haven't read it yet, but it takes place in the United States, so that I considered a national book. And also it has to do with football, which is very much a national thing, so I picked that one. I forgot to say that, and Silver Linings Playbook is by Matthew Quick. For an international book, I chose Three Cups of Tea, and this is by Greg Mortensen and David Oliver Relin. Another book that I have not read, have heard great things about, and I really want to read. It's about a man who goes to Pakistan, and he builds schools, especially for girls there. And it seems like a very, I don't know, heartwarming, maybe difficult kind of read, but I think that I would enjoy it. For the thin book, I chose Siddhartha, and this is by Herman Hesse, and I have not read it, and I need to read it because I think this is just like a really important book. Again, heard so many good things about it. It's a classic, and I really like this edition. I think it's really cool. So, yeah, it's really thin. It's only, you can see how thin it is. It's only, how many pages? 122 pages. So that's a very quick read. I should have already read it, but I have not. For a thick book, I have here Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, of course, by the Brothers Grimm, and I love this book. I think it's so cool. Yeah, first of all, the cover artwork is just fantastic. I love having all these stories all in one place, and I love having the originals. Some of these stories I had no idea that that's how they were originally written. A little disturbing, but yeah, I really enjoy this, and I pick it up and read it a story or two every once in a while, and I am in the mood, and it's really nice. So yeah, and this one's really thick. It's this big. Let's see, how many pages is this one? This one is 682 pages, so it's quite a bit in there, and it's going to take me a long time to get through it, but that's okay, because I like it. The next is a fiction book and a nonfiction book. Okay, so for the fiction book, I chose another book that I'm currently reading, and I know that this one is super, super popular, and so I wanted to read it before I see the movie, and it's Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and I hate to say it, I am struggling through this one. I don't know what it is about it. I just can't. I've been reading it for a while now, and I'm only on page 124 out of, how many pages is this? 415. I don't know why I can't get into it. It just is slow, and I don't really like either of the characters, Nick and Amy. And also, I haven't gotten to the point where I find out what really has happened to Amy. So, yeah, so it's a story about a woman who she gets kidnapped, and it's from both her point of view and her husband's point of view. And her husband's point of view starts the day she's kidnapped and goes from there. And her account starts when they first start dating. So I love the way it's set up. It's really a cool idea, and I want to know what happens, but for some reason, just every time I sit down to read it, I get like a page in, and I just give up. I don't know. I need to get back into it, but yeah, so that's what I picked for a fiction book. For nonfiction, I picked Enough, Staying Human in an Engineered Age, and this is by Bill McKibben. The only nonfiction books that I really have here at school are ones that were assigned for classes, and so this was assigned for my genetics and society class, but I really enjoyed it. I actually really thought it had some really cool points to it. This one has mixed reviews on Goodreads. I think a lot of people maybe are offended by his standpoint because he's not against the advancement of like technology, but it's more like he is cautious in thinking that moving forward is always the right way to go. So it had some really interesting points, and I really enjoyed it. The next category is a really very romantic book and a very action-packed book. For a romantic book, it says very or way too romantic. I didn't think this was too romantic. I actually really enjoyed it, but it's the only really romantic book that I have here at school, and it's Mistress of Room by Kate Quinn. And this was really a good read. It was quick, it was entertaining, kind of I don't know, like a guilty pleasure kind of book. Yes, it's just, I read it a while ago, so I don't know exactly what it was about, but I picked it up recently because I want to reread it and read the sequels to it because I think that it's just a fun series and it's really, really enjoyable. So this one's really has a really nice romance in it, actually. I found it to be great. For an action-packed book, I picked Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Have not read it. Can't wait to read it. I think this is such a cool concept. It's a retelling of Cinderella, but Cinderella is a cyborg, which is the coolest thing ever. I just can't wait to read this. I have just so many books on my TBR pile that I haven't gotten to it yet, but I will. And I will let you know what I think of it. Yeah, I chose this one because it says on the back that there is an intergalactic struggle. And that sounds really cool, and it sounds really action-packed. This is the only one I could really find that's action-packed. I don't read a lot of action-packed books, so I'm thinking this is going to have some action in it, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so the last category is a book that made you happy and a book that made you sad. And the book I have for a book that made me happy, I don't actually have it with me right now. I chose The Night Circus because I thought it was just really intriguing. The setting was really cool, and I just loved reading it. I would just look forward to like jumping into that world. It made me very happy. So yeah, I loved that book. And then a book that made me sad. This is not going to be a surprise to anybody. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. It was fantastic. Also, this is really cool. This book I got secondhand, and I had no idea when I bought it, but it is signed. Signed. That's just so cool. So yeah, I read that one. They were showing the movie here like a week ago or so, and I hadn't read the book yet, and I really wanted to see the movie, so I sat down and I said, I'm going to read this whole thing, and I read it in a night, and my eyes really hurt afterwards, and I was sobbing, but I loved it. It was great. I mean, of course, it's a great book, but I was just, streams of tears. It was ripped my heart out, so. And I also I liked the movie. I didn't like it as much as the book, of course, but yeah, that's the book that made me sad, but in a very good way. Alright, so that's the end of the tag. I really enjoyed doing this one. If you guys have any video requests, I would love to do them. If you have any more tags, I'm not going to tag anybody specifically because I think a lot of people have already done this tag. I will see you guys next time. Bye!